Hello everyone, Jennifer with Crafty Bones. Just want to let you guys know what I've been up to. I'm still working on the staircase stitch afghan from Fiber Spider, and it's probably maybe 3.5, 4 feet wide right now, and I'm just debating on whether or not to put the third skein of each color on. But last week when I was working on it, I held it up to see how big it was, and I seen a hole, a very visible hole. And the hole was there because I forgot to drop down to the row before and do an extended double crochet. Now I had two options: to frog 6 rows, which wasn't going to happen, or to just let it be. So I've let it be, and because it is a pink afghan in 2 different shades of pink, I'm just going to do a little heart applique and put one on each side and sandwich them together and sew them on. Cover the hole, put a cute little heart motif on it. Then it's done. It's, you know, it's important to point out that no one's perfect and stuff happens, and you can adapt and recover, or you can get angry with yourself and rip it all out. And I just was not going to rip it all out. It wasn't going to happen. There was way too many rows done already. And once it gets to a certain size, you know, the rows get bigger and bigger because it's worked in the round. And it was too much. I wasn't going to tear it out. It wasn't going to happen. It's a little chilly today. We got up into the 60s and 70s. And then spring decided, no, just kidding. I'm not staying. Just not staying. But I'm using my husband's cup. It says I don't need Google. My wife knows everything. You know, his sister sent it to him. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Anyway, so I got an email from Rose Likes Crochet. I'll link her down below, along with the Fiber Spider afghan tutorial. And she had requested from several different makers and YouTube channels last year that we help support Wings with a washcloth and face scrubby and drive. And those were all done by a certain month. And this year she's done the same thing. I'm happy to participate. She keeps trying to send us yarn, though. I stop sending us yarn, Rose. We all have yarn. Too much yarn. Anyway, so this year she wanted us to work on the winter sets. And they are due in September. So if you do them, that's great. We all want you to participate, but do not send them to her before September, and try not to send them to her after September. Wings has, it's hard to handle the massive amount of donations that come in from all of us makers. And so they concentrate on one thing per month, and it just makes it easier on them and easier on Rose, because then she doesn't have to store all the stuff that we send too early. All right, so what it is this year is winter sets, like I said. So it could be like a hat and a cowl, or a hat and a scarf, or whatever, just winter sets. And I was scrolling through YouTube. I lurk a lot. I watch a lot of stuff while I'm crocheting, and I put it up on the TV, and just I have a keyboard for my television, and just randomly watch videos. Unfortunately, because I watch on my television, I can't comment or anything. So I feel a little weird just creeping on the videos, but that's me. I'm creepy. That's what I do. And I found a tutorial, and I can't remember who did it now, for velvet mittens. And she uses Bernat velvet, which is a 5-weight, and a K hook, and I will link it below. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but I will link it below. Now, I knew that I had some velvet yarn from making the Bridget beanie, but there wasn't enough left to do much of anything with. She does say that with the Bernat, she gets 2 pair of gloves, or 2 pair of mittens, excuse me, and has leftovers. Now, that is a 10.5 ounce ball. That's a large ball of yarn. I believe it's 300, I want to say 300 yards in that area of a 5 bulky Bernat velvet. I did not want to try and make a pair of mittens out of that velvet because I wouldn't have had anything to go with it, and it does have to be sets. And I understand that because I know last year everybody sent a lot of gloves or I keep saying gloves, a lot of hats and scarves and cowls and stuff, but there weren't match sets. And I know just from my own personal experience, a little OCD about it, that I want to have things that match. And if my coat's black and I buy black gloves, that's fine. I'll make whatever kind of scarf that I want to wear, and it doesn't have to have black in it. But if you don't have access to any of that, you're going to want stuff that matches. So I thought, well, would it be okay then if I did mittens and a hat? I'm like, well, it's technically a winter set, right? So I went through my stash and I found yarn that I had. And what I did have was not more Brant velvet in the 5-weight. What I had was this Lion's Brand Ice Cream Deluxe, which is a velvet. And I have a lot of different skeins of it, but in different colors. So like this one is called Pompano, and I had 3 of these, but most of the other ones that I have are, I only have 2 of. So I thought, well, what if I could make a pair of mittens and a hat? I should be able to get that out of 2. I mean, these are 155 yards, but they're a 6 bulky, and they do recommend an end hook. But what if I used a K hook? I crochet tightly anyway, so what if I used a K hook? Because I would be worried that the end hook, the mittens would be too lacy. There'd be too much space in them. And so I pulled this one out because I happen to have 3 of this. So I said, let me see what I can get out of 3. So the first thing I started with was these velvet mittens. Now, because hers is a 6 or a 5-weight and mine's a 6-weight, I did have to adjust the pattern, and I think I'll adjust it more because I'm not sure about the way it came out. And I had 2 that had blue in the center, or a teal. So I figured I would start each mitten from the center of individual cakes. So here's the first mitten. So they're extremely comfy and they're extremely warm. And so part of the adjustment I'm going to make is shortening the wrist cuff here. It is a ribbed cuff, and putting less rows on it so that it actually sticks to the wrist. But the rest of it, I adjusted the height because, again, it's a thicker yarn. And I also adjusted the number of ribbing I reduced anyway. Hers was 18 and I did 16, and it still feels a little large to me. But if I do an odd number, it doesn't match up right for me to sew it together. It's just me. So that's one mitten. Again, that one's blue and pink. Here's the other one. I ended up with some yellow on it, which that's fine. I mean, it's a striped yarn. But then I went to the hat, and for a hat, I just thought, well, let me just do a half double crochet hat pattern that I mean, it's just a hat. I think most of us have done a hat, so I just did a hat. So here's the hat, and I just whipped it together really quickly, and just as an added texturizing thing, I did crossed doubles here where the rest of it's half doubles. So that's that. And well, I still have a decent amount of yarn left. I know I don't have enough for a scarf. If I break into the 3rd skein, I can do, or the 3rd cake, I can have a scarf. But what can I do with just the one that's left? So I did a cowl, and it's a nice fluffy cowl. It is a double crochet cowl, but I did do the same texturizing pattern here of the crossed doubles, but I think that works out great. So now we have a hat and a cowl, which definitely look like they came out of the same skein, and then the gloves, which I think when I do it next time, I'm not going to start from the center of each one to try to make the mittens match, because it didn't work out for me anyway. I'm just gonna do the mittens as they come off the cake. And then, so this again is a 6 ice cream, Lion Brand Ice Cream Deluxe. And I just made it work, but let me show you what I have left. I still have all of this left. So again, it wouldn't have been enough for a scarf. And I think the cowl is probably the right, I can't even, it's the right diameter and the right circumference. That's the word I'm looking for. Fancy geometry words. So I have this much left over. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull out the other sets of matched skeins that I have, which again is just 2 of all the other colors. And then I can get a pair of mittens, a hat, and a cowl and still have this much left over. That's going to leave me enough yarn to make a whole nother set in just a hodgepodge of yarn colors. And I, you know, some people don't care about that. So, I in fact think it looks really, really cute when you have just a bunch of mismatched skeins together. I have made multiple baby afghans in the round where I've had 3 different kinds of 3-weight and like a mandala. The color schemes were close, but not exact. So you just do one and then move right to the next one, and it works out okay. But, so that's what I'm up to. So I want everybody to get your winter sets together for September for Rose Likes Crochet for Wings donations. She usually ends up with quite a few participants. So we just want to get everybody involved in that. It's a great cause. If you can't send them to Rose, that's fine. Donate locally. There's always places you can do it locally. I know myself, I will go on Saturdays. I go to Dollar General and use their online coupons, and I buy Gain laundry detergent, Gain dish soap, all kinds of stuff, and they offer all kinds of online coupons at Dollar General. I don't use the stuff myself. The scent's too strong for me. I can't put it against my skin. But I donate to the Ronald McDonald House, and I give it to my daughter and 2 of her adult friends, and I just call it their adult Christmas basket. And I literally just get them a hamper or a laundry basket and fill it full of this stuff with little, you know, incidental things. Excuse me. But, so yeah, I donate those to the Ronald McDonald House. And I think, at least around here where it's cold, you have people, let's say they come in town for cancer treatment or whatever, God forbid. But if they come from the South and they come up here, they're not going to be equipped to deal with this. So, you know, just having something available to them. I check your local charities. I'm not sure what everybody accepts or doesn't accept. They may not take handmade items. Mine does. So, anyway, that's it. That's all I've been up to. And that's what I'm going to be doing the rest of this week. And I did, I ironed up some fabric to make another bag, and I don't have the gumption today for it. It's just too chilly, and it's cold in my craft room, and I never bothered to turn the heat back on it in here. Each room upstairs has their own thermostat and their own heater, and I haven't been up here a lot because I've been working, and I don't want to waste the electricity, so I had it down to like 60. Oh, no, looks like one of the kids turned it all the way off because it's off. That's why I'm chilly. But anyway, that's what I'll be up to, is making winter sets for Wings, for Rose, going in September. And once I run out of the velvet, who knows? I know I have more bulky yarn, and maybe I'll just use more bulky yarn and make some more sets out of regular acrylic yarn instead of the polyester velvet yarn. You could really do it out of anything, but the only reason I'm using the bulky is because I found a velvet mitten tutorial. And again, like I said, I had to adjust it because the size differences between the yarns, and but I did use the same size hook as she recommended for her 5-weight Bernat. So, but that's it. That's all I got going. Get your donations ready. Get them out to Rose in September, and happy crocheting.